Have you ever questioned why some individuals maintain their health and strength well into their 90s, while others have ongoing health issues at a much younger age? Genetics is not the only factor. The way we age is greatly influenced by our daily routines. In fact, a lot of elderly people unintentionally commit errors that shorten their lives or make their latter years much more difficult than they need to be. And there are 6 things you should definitely stay away from if you want to live happily until you're 90. The largest lifestyle errors that hasten aging, damage the body, and make day-to-day living more challenging as you age will be revealed in this video. Each of these factors, from typical dietary errors to neglected health behaviors, might mean the difference between succeeding in your older years and dealing with avoidable problems. You may be surprised by some of them, but you will have the ability to alter your destiny once you realize them. Be careful to watch through to the very finish, because almost everyone engages in the final activity on this list without recognizing how harmful it is. After we're done, you'll have a clear plan for how to make the best decisions to maintain your independence, mental acuity, and level of activity for as long as feasible. Let's get going now. First, neglecting mobility and strength training. Believing that slowing down is a normal aspect of aging is one of the greatest misconceptions seniors make as they become older. Although the body does change with time, it may have disastrous effects if strength and mobility workouts are totally avoided. Poor balance, tight joints, and weak muscles are not just symptoms of aging. They often indicate inactivity. Additionally, maintaining independence is more difficult the longer someone neglects to improve their strength and flexibility. Consider it. Things that you used to take for granted, like getting out of a chair, going upstairs, or even walking for extended periods of time, seem harder all of a sudden. It goes beyond age. Loss of muscle is the cause of it. According to studies, if individuals don't actively attempt to retain their muscle mass beyond the age of 30, they lose it at a rate of 3% every 10 years. By the time they're 70 or 80 years old, that loss may make life much more difficult than it has to be. And muscles aren't the only thing involved. One of the main causes of injury and hospitalization for seniors is falling, which is greatly increased by weak legs and poor balance. Consider Robert, a 74-year-old guy who, while he had been pretty active throughout his younger years, ceased doing so after retiring. He reasoned that he could stay in shape only by performing yard chores and strolling about the home. But as time went on, he discovered that rising from the sofa took more work and that prolonged walking left him fatigued. He broke his hip when he stumbled on a little rug one day. He was informed by the physicians that his bones were more susceptible to fractures since his muscles had deteriorated over time. Months of recuperation followed what should have been a simple mishap, and he never completely recovered his mobility. However, there are major advantages for seniors who include even a tiny bit of resistance training in their regimens, whether it be via light weights, resistance bands, or bodyweight exercises. They move more confidently, retain greater balance, and are less likely to fall and be hurt. Stretching and joint-friendly motions are examples of mobility exercises that maintain the body's flexibility and avoid stiffness, which may restrict movement. What is the answer then? There's always time to get started. Simple workouts like chair squats, leg lifts, or gentle stretching may have a significant impact even if you have never lifted a weight in your life. Walking is fantastic, but it's insufficient. At least a few times a week, you should include strength and mobility workouts into your program. Because the truth is that you remain independent for a longer period of time, the stronger you remain. Additionally, independence is crucial as you age. Eating too much or too little protein comes in at number 2. Many seniors concentrate on managing their calories, reducing their intake of salt, or avoiding sweets when it comes to their nutrition. However, protein consumption is one of the most neglected aspects of good aging. Serious problems might arise from both too much and too little. It's not only bodybuilders that need protein. It is the cornerstone of immunological function, tissue healing, and muscular strength. Additionally, your body needs it more than ever as you age. Simply not consuming enough protein is one of the main causes of muscle loss in seniors. We must eat more protein to maintain muscle mass, since our bodies are less able to metabolize it as we age. However, many seniors unintentionally cut down on protein, particularly if they eat less in general or steer clear of certain foods because of digestive or dental problems. And the outcome? Weak muscles, a delayed rate of injury healing, and even an increased risk of infection, as protein aids in immunological function as well. However, the opposite issue may potentially be as detrimental. Consuming excessive amounts of protein, particularly from unhealthy sources, may unnecessarily strain the kidneys, particularly in those who already have health issues. Some seniors believe that the answer lies in increasing their intake of meat or protein drinks. However, protein quality is equally as important as quantity. Overindulging in processed meats, high-fat cuts, or artificial protein supplements may be more detrimental than beneficial. Take the example of Carol, a 76-year-old lady who has always made an effort to eat healthily. She heard that eating meat was bad for aging bodies, so she reduced her intake. However, she did not substitute it with other meals high in protein, such as fish, beans, or eggs. She became aware that she was becoming weaker over time. Even little cuts took longer to heal, and her skin was thinner. Her protein levels, which contributed to muscle loss and a compromised immune system, were dangerously low when her doctor tested them. However, her 78-year-old pal, John, adopted a different tack. He began eating a lot of red meat every day after learning about the benefits of protein because he believed it would make him stronger. Instead, the high protein load made him feel lethargic, made his digestion more difficult, and made his kidneys less effective. He then discovered that lean proteins like fish, chicken, nuts, and legumes produce superior outcomes without running the danger of overburdening his system, and that moderation and balance were essential. What is the proper strategy, then? Seniors should consume 1 to 1.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight, spaced out throughout the day, according to experts. The source, however, is more crucial. Good options include fish, poultry, eggs, dairy products, beans, lentils, and nuts. Avoiding it completely or going overboard is not the aim. To preserve strength, mobility, and immunological function far into old life, the proper balance must be struck. Please let me know in a second remark below if you're still watching this video and finding these ideas helpful. To ensure you don't miss any videos, I advise you to subscribe and turn on the bell if you haven't already. We can keep producing high-quality material to educate and uplift you thanks to your support. All right, let's go. The third is disregarding social ties. Social, rather than physical, behaviors are among the most harmful ones that might affect your life expectancy. Many individuals unintentionally isolate themselves as they age, whether it's because they've retired, lost contact with old pals, or just stopped trying to interact with others. Furthermore, research indicates that loneliness is just as dangerous as smoking 15 cigarettes a day, even if it may not seem like a huge concern at first. It weakens the immune system, increases the chance of dementia, and even increases the risk of heart disease and premature mortality. Since humans are social beings, maintaining a connection involves more than simply casual chats. It's about being intellectually active, supported, and feeling appreciated. Seniors who don't have it may have despair, cognitive decline, and even more rapid physical degeneration. The worst thing is that a lot of individuals are unaware of it until they have already distanced themselves from society. Consider the example of 75-year-old Richard, who had a vibrant social life while employed. However, he gradually stopped contacting pals after retiring, and eventually he found himself spending whole days by himself. He assured himself that he was well, but gradually his memory began to fail him. His appetite even declined, and he became increasingly exhausted and uninterested. Later, his doctor informed him that his seclusion was speeding up the aging process and had a detrimental effect on his body and brain. However, his 78-year-old neighbor Barbara made a concerted effort to maintain her social life. She even picked up a new pastime at a community center, went to a weekly lunch with friends, and joined a local walking club. She was happier, less stressed, and physically healthier than many of her classmates, in addition to maintaining her mental acuity. Strong social ties help seniors' immune systems reduce stress and improve cognitive function, according to research. So, how may isolation be avoided? The secret is to continue being proactive. Make it a point to get in touch with relatives, rekindle old friendships, or join a local club that shares your interests, even if you don't feel like socializing. Every little amount of social interaction is beneficial, whether it takes the form of volunteering, joining a reading club, or just making phone calls on a regular basis. Even while physical distance might be a problem, staying connected is now simpler than ever thanks to technology. In fact, maintaining social interaction is just as crucial as maintaining physical activity. Additionally, establishing and maintaining solid connections is essential if you want to live peacefully until you are 90. It is necessary, but here's the thing. If you make this next error, your health might still be in danger even if you're doing everything right socially. The fourth is neglecting routine medical examinations. As individuals age, one of the most frequent errors they make is believing that if they feel well, they must be healthy. However, the truth is that a lot of the most dangerous illnesses, such as diabetes, high blood pressure, and even certain types of cancer, go undetected until it's too late. The goal of routine health screenings is not just to identify issues early, but also to avoid complications that might make your latter years much more difficult than they need to be. Too many elderly people wait until they are ill before seeing the doctor. While some people just don't want to deal with medical visits, others believe they don't need exams since they've always been healthy. However, it's risky to wait until anything feels off since the harm can be done by the time symptoms show up. For instance, high blood pressure may cause silent artery damage and raise the risk of heart disease and stroke for years without anybody noticing. Furthermore, diseases like osteoporosis may damage bones without causing pain or other symptoms, which increases the risk of a simple fall. Consider Harold, a 72-year-old man who took great satisfaction in the fact that he never required medicine. He said, "I feel great, so why bother?" and had not seen a doctor in more than 10 years. However, he abruptly passed out one morning as he was getting out of bed. He had a stroke that left him unable to walk without help, and it came out that he had severe hypertension that had been misdiagnosed for years. His physicians may have detected it early and recommended easy lifestyle modifications or medication to treat it before it became life-threatening if he had continued to get routine examinations. However, even when she was feeling well, his 75-year-old friend Ellen made time each year for tests. She was able to modify her diet and exercise regimen before prediabetes progressed to full-blown diabetes, thanks to an early detection of the condition in her regular blood tests. She was able to be active and independent far into her senior years by acting early and avoiding a lifetime of drugs and difficulties. What are you supposed to do? Seniors should, at the absolute least, receive a yearly physical that includes testing for diseases like diabetes and osteoporosis, blood pressure monitoring, and cholesterol checks. You shouldn't put off obtaining regular cancer tests like mammograms and colonoscopies because you're growing older. Additionally, if anything seems strange, have it checked out right away. Years of agony might be avoided with a simple test now. Please let me know in the fourth comment below if you're still viewing this video and finding these ideas helpful. To ensure you don't miss any videos, I advise you to subscribe and turn on the bell if you haven't already. We can keep producing high-quality material to educate and uplift you thanks to your support. All right, let's go. The fifth is irregular slumber and bad sleep habits. Many people believe that getting less sleep is a normal aspect of growing older. But the reality is that getting good sleep is just as important in your 70s and 80s as it was when you were younger. Sadly, a lot of seniors start to have bad sleep habits, such as staying up too late, waking up a lot, or using drugs that interfere with their normal sleep cycles. Furthermore, persistent sleep deprivation may damage the immune system, raise the risk of cognitive decline, and accelerate aging. Even if a few sleepless nights may not seem like a huge concern, the body does its most crucial repair job when you sleep. It helps control blood sugar, boosts the immune system, and even removes toxic substances from the brain that cause dementia and memory loss. Without it, the body finds it difficult to recuperate from normal wear and tear, which raises stress levels, causes inflammation, and even increases the risk of heart disease and stroke. Take Nancy, an 80-year-old lady who has always slept lightly, as an example. She gradually stopped obtaining more than 4 hours of sleep as she grew older and began waking up many times throughout the night. She first dismissed it as a natural aspect of growing older, but as time went on, she began to lose her memory, struggle to focus, and experience anxiety for no apparent reason. She discovered that her long-term lack of sleep was affecting her brain and nervous system, raising her risk of Alzheimer's disease when she went to see her doctor. In the meanwhile, her 78-year-old pal, George, prioritized his sleep. He avoided using electronics an hour before bed, maintained a regular bedtime, and even began performing some moderate stretching in the evening to help him unwind. What's the difference? Every day, he awoke with renewed energy, concentration, and a more positive attitude. According to studies, older adults who get at least 7 or 8 hours of good sleep each night not only have better health, but also outlive those who don't. What can you do, therefore, to enhance the quality of your sleep as you become older? Start by keeping a consistent sleep routine. Maintaining a consistent bedtime and wake-up time each day aids in regulating the body's internal clock. Alcohol and caffeine may interfere with deep sleep, so stay away from them in the evening. Establish a relaxing evening ritual, like reading or light stretching, to assist your body know it's time to relax. Above all, take care of any underlying problems, such as discomfort, anxiety, or sleep apnea, since neglecting inadequate sleep may have disastrous long-term effects. The sixth is over-reliance on drugs rather than lifestyle modifications. It's normal for individuals to amass a lengthy list of drugs as they age, including ones for blood pressure, cholesterol, and maybe arthritis, followed by further ones to offset the negative effects of the first ones. Here's the issue, however. Too many elderly people turn to drugs as a short-term solution, ignoring lifestyle choices that may reduce or even completely remove their need for some of them. Furthermore, excessive usage of drugs may result in harmful drug interactions, severe side effects, and a general loss in health, even if they are sometimes required. Polypharmacy, or taking more than one prescription at once, is one of the main dangers of overusing medications. Dizziness, disorientation, exhaustion, and even a higher risk of falls might result from drug interactions. Nevertheless, a lot of elderly people don't consider if all of their prescription drugs are really required. In order to address a symptom that is really brought on by another medicine, physicians can prescribe a new prescription, which only serves to worsen the situation. Consider Henry, a 79-year-old man who was given a prescription for a drug to treat his high blood pressure. He gradually began to feel tired and weak in his muscles, so his doctor recommended another energy supplement. Then he started experiencing stomach problems, which resulted in another prescription. By the time he was on 7 different drugs, his condition had become worse. Upon reviewing his prescriptions, a new physician discovered that several of his symptoms were not new medical concerns, but rather the result of his meds. He felt better than he had in years, and was able to cut down on the number of prescriptions he needed by adopting easy lifestyle adjustments like eating healthier and exercising often. His 80-year-old companion Margaret, however, adopted a different strategy. She worked closely with her physician to emphasize lifestyle changes, such as maintaining an active lifestyle, eating a heart-healthy diet, and using natural stress management techniques. She was able to reduce her dosages and steer clear of needless prescriptions, even though she still needed a few essential drugs. Research indicates that older adults who prioritize lifestyle modifications over pharmaceutical use had better long-term health outcomes, fewer adverse effects, and a greater quality of life. What is the answer then? First, always ask your doctor to check your prescriptions and see if there are any that may be cut down or replaced with lifestyle modifications. Second, concentrate on the behaviors that promote general health, such as stress reduction, regular exercise, a balanced diet, and enough sleep. Lastly, advocate for yourself. Take an active part in your health, inquire about new medicines, and look for natural alternatives. Because ultimately, your body will perform better as you age if you use less unneeded prescriptions. Please let me know in the 6th comment below if you're still viewing this video and finding these ideas helpful. To ensure you don't miss any videos, I advise you to subscribe and turn on the bell if you haven't already. We can keep producing high-quality material to educate and uplift you thanks to your support. All right, let's go. Last words. After discussing these 6 crucial errors that might make growing older more challenging than necessary, pause to consider your own routines. What caught your attention the most among these? Do you believe that a little adjustment may have a significant impact on your long-term happiness and health in any particular area? In actuality, it takes more than luck to live comfortably until you are 90. It involves making deliberate decisions that promote your well-being each and every day. Neglecting social relationships, missing routine exams, tolerating bad sleep patterns, leaning too heavily on drugs, ignoring strength and mobility workouts, and eating too much or too little protein. All of these things are within your control. The good news is that you can start making better decisions at any time. Every little step matters, whether it's including some light strength training, getting in touch with an old buddy, making that long overdue doctor's visit, or just making your nighttime routine better. Keep in mind that aging properly isn't about delaying aging. It's about making sure you get the most out of each year. In order to avoid difficulties later, the best approach to do that is to take care of your relationships, health, and mind today. We appreciate you being here with us today. We would be delighted to hear from you. Tell us about one thing you learned today and how you intend to use it in your life in the comment section below. We value your opinions, so please feel free to express them. We are really inspired and encouraged by reading your remarks. Please like, subscribe, and share this video if you found it entertaining and useful. We can keep producing high-quality material to educate and uplift you thanks to your support. We appreciate your time and hope to see you in the next video.